Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so formal today, but it's because of the order of the day. Welcome to In Conversation With, once again, hosted by yours truly. Nomcebo Msane is the name. As I promised when I started this talk show, I will call it, the idea behind has always been to empower you, inspire you, and bring people where you will see yourself in them and find out how they're navigating through their journeys and how did they get to be where they are. And obviously I always bring you the best of the best. And today I'm sitting with Miss Thandeka Mpanza.
Hi Nomcebo.
Hi Thandeka.
How are you doing?
I'm good, babes. How are you?
I am alright, thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Someone will be just like, this one, she just wrecked her friend and now she wants us. No, guys, listen. She is a friend. I am not shy to say that. But she is also an attorney. That's why the formality, as you can see, we're all in black and ready to take this case on and win this case. Without wasting any more time, help me welcome my guest, Miss Thandeka Mpanza. She's going to tell us about her journey. We're going to talk about what it means to be an attorney, what is required, how did she do it. She is a woman. There's massive pressure put on us as women, and she's an all-rounder. She's a woman, she's a mom, an attorney, a partner, a friend. Girl.
My darling.
Wow, look at you.
I don't even know how I do it myself.
But you're doing it.
I think God has given us supernatural powers as women, eh?
That's just how he is.
I really think so.
Who is Thandeka Mpanza?
Thandeka, ne? Thandeka is... She's a friend. She's an activist.
Mm-hmm.
A philanthropist as well. I'm very big on social justice and so on. I think perhaps that is why I decided to become a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
So Thandeka is also an attorney. She's a mother. She's a lover of life, all things nice.
Yes.
And she loves people, and she's just a person who wants to leave this world having made a positive mark that Thandeka was here, and yeah, that's basically who I am.
I love it. She's an all-rounder, like I said, and I like how she's not missing any parts of it. A lot of people think friendship is just whatever, but it's also a tag that you can carry and say, listen, my friends are very happy with me, so I am a friend and I am proud of that. You said you're an attorney, a lawyer. Guys, I don't even know the difference. Is there even a difference between an attorney and a lawyer?
Well, if you want to be very technical, anybody with a bachelor's of law degree, LLB, is a lawyer.
Yes.
But once you do your articles and you sit for your board exams, then you become an attorney.
Oh, so attorney is like next level, guys.
Like next levels.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna go around saying, "Oh, you're a lawyer." No.
I'm an attorney.
There's a difference. Guys, please don't be offended when you call you guys lawyers. We don't know the difference. And thank you for sharing the difference today. So you've done it, girl. You are next level vibes. And this other day we were actually celebrating her becoming an attorney here at the office.
Yeah.
So it's not a lie. She did the work, and then here she is. But now, take me to who Thandeka was when she was a young girl. Like, you didn't just wake up and become an attorney. Take me back to when you were a young girl, when you were dreaming, and just looking at life and looking at being an attorney like, still a long journey.
Indeed. Well, for me, I always say I'm proper township baby. People always say, I'm like, first
oh God,
and my mom is Tswana, so I'm also very diluted as well, But basically, Thandeka grew up as a middle child. Thandeka grew up as a person of very low confidence, believe it or not. And I think I was really just going through life. But one thing I was also very good at, public speaking came very naturally to me. And also I was also a very sporty person, but I was a tomboy. I didn't really think much of anything really. So that was my very strong point. But I remember this journey on to becoming now a lawyer. I think there are very two important lessons that I learned, and the first one would be that you need to be very deliberate about yourself and your life, and that comes in identifying your strong points and so on. So I mentioned Guti, my strong point was public speaking.
Yes.
For a reason later on, or later on find out. So I think it's very important that you first, if you're a believer, find out from God what is the journey that you have for my life, but now actively work your way towards becoming that person.
Yes, I love that.
So my parents, I remember my older sister, she's in civil engineering, so my parents were really pushing the whole do math and science thing, but I hated math and science and I wasn't good at it. And it's okay now.
It's fine.
It's really fine. It wasn't my strong suit, and it's really okay. And I went that journey just to please my parents, but my heart was never settled in that. But nonetheless, by God's grace, you still passed, you managed to pass and all that. But for whatever reason, I hadn't applied to go to university in Ekasi. So what that resulted in is that, okay, now it's January, now we're okay.
Everyone is like,
everybody's running around. And I'm like, hey, I want to get to school. So just for the sake of for that year, and also another lesson that I will also touch on is not to succumb to peer pressure, what everybody else is doing. Our journeys are different for a reason, So that could have been my time to reflect and actually ask myself, because even by that time when I was done with matric, I still wasn't sure which I want to be a lawyer. I was still like, I could be a lawyer, or I could be a journalist, or I could be a politician. I'm just like, I wasn't set in what I want to be. But nonetheless, went to apply for school. And I studied at the Northwest University, but I studied the course I was accepted to at the time of the year was BA in politics and public governance, which I thought, okay, no, let me just do it, and then I will find my feet later on. Mid-year, I'm not vibing with this. I feel like I'm wasting what I want to do with my life. Now in the course, because the course has some law modules, now I'm very sure that this is what I want to do. I want to become a lawyer, and I want to go. So end of that year, I re-enrolled for my Bachelor of Laws degree, and I think that is where my real journey as a lawyer started. And yeah, that's basically me becoming to that journey to registering for my LLB. So two lessons: people, be deliberate of your future, know your strong suits. And again, I will later elaborate on why this life thing is not a race, and why you should always walk your own journey for yourself.
For yourself and nobody else. I like what you are saying. Be deliberate about your life and yourself. A lot of people are not deliberate. Like, we're so big on coincidences. Yeah, I'm just going to wake up in it, and then, oh wow, I'm lucky. I don't believe in luck, because there's no such thing. You need to be deliberate about your life. You being deliberate about your life doesn't mean, we're not saying you must figure everything out. You didn't have everything figured out.
None whatsoever.
You were there like, yeah guys, I want to go to school, yeah, let's do it. But there was something in you that was like, listen, I want to do something with my life.
Exactly.
That's the deliberate part. There has to be something in you that is like, you know what, this is what's happening now, but my life, this is the kind of order that I want. And then God and whatsoever it is that you believe it will just guide you, navigate and direct your steps. Now we have Thandeka, who grew up in Fosloras, Kelly. You didn't want to be a lawyer when you were growing up. What did you want to be?
I think I had that every notion that every child wants to become a doctor or a teacher. Or I didn't. I think also that low confidence thing. I always felt that me, a lawyer, I don't think I could ever become a lawyer. But yeah, our journeys find us, and somehow it works out together.
Exactly. I remember when I was young, funny thing is I didn't want to be a doctor because I'm so scared of blood. I was just like, negativity, I'm not coming. But one of the things that I wanted was to be a lawyer. I didn't even know there was a lawyer at the time, you see. I was like, I just want to be a lawyer. And my thing was, why do you want to be a lawyer? I'm like, because I can talk. And I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
So what does it take to be a lawyer? Is it just because you can talk and you are very good at it? Or it takes much more than that?
I would say it takes a lot more than that. So the thing is, being a lawyer is also quite broad. You need to also bear that in mind. So not all of us are litigate. No, we don't litigate. Not all of us are in court and we need to talk well and so on. So it's also this identifying which path works for you. You can literally become a legal advisor. You could become a law researcher to a judge or something like that. You could end up in practice, but not where you're required to go in court. Like we have conveyances, for example. They deal with property transfers and so on. They are not required to be in court, you know. Right now, where I currently am, I'm doing a lot of commercial litigation, commercial and corporate law, which is a lot of drafting, a lot of research, a lot of legal opinions and so on. It's very seldom that I have appearances, you know. So you find you're strong. So it really does help if you're a good speaker and you want to be that kind of a lawyer. But you know, Nomcebo, I think that the journey in it as well, and I think that's what I like about the LLB degree, the way it's structured. So you do a bit of all these modules, so that by the time you're in your 4th year, then you plus minus, you know, what do I like, and then you can from there on say, okay, I want to be a criminal attorney, or I want to be a labor law attorney, and so
or just
on.
a legal advisor,
or a legal advisor, and so on. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think you just made us realize that it is a broad industry. And you just saying, I want to be a lawyer, it doesn't stop there. You actually need to know what kind of lawyer you want to be, and how do you go about being that kind of lawyer. And obviously that takes it back to the education. You can't just say, I want to be a lawyer because I can speak, and then you run. Are you passionate about finding out about the whole broader industry? Because trust me, if I went and did law, I was going to find out very early that it's not just about speaking well.
A lot of reading.
It's a lot more. So I was probably not going to pass because I was going there for all the wrong reasons.
But you're smart. When you would have made it work.
I'm a woman. We always make everything work. It goes back to what you were saying. You did maths and science and you passed it. You're not passionate about it, but because we have superpowers, we can do it. You do it. Just because you're passing a subject doesn't actually mean that that's where you should be going to. But anyway, that's not where we are going. We are still talking about the broadness of the industry of lawyers. Thank you for clarifying that. I know a lot of young people, because of the stigma and because of the conversations at home, someone is just going to say, I want to be a lawyer. But she is saying it takes much more than that. You need to do the course, go to school, get all the information that you need. Look at the information that you've gotten and look at yourself and see, is this really what I want to do? We have passed the stage where you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be a lawyer because somebody said so. We live in a broader space where there's information and knowledge all thrown in your face. You just need to pick the one that you want. So you want to be a lawyer, do the course and proudly stand and say, no, I am a lawyer, this kind of law. So now you are a grown-up lady. You are adulting. You are a lawyer, attorney. Now that I know the difference, and you mentioned that you are in corporate. Tell us a bit about your corporate journey and how is it going? Where you at? What did you learn? Is it your first job?
No, it's not. So to answer that, I have to go back just a little bit. So get to varsity. We're doing law now. First year, meet the love of my life. He's also studying law as well.
Ooh, I can already see this.
You can already see it.
With the blazers.
You know what? The lawyers, you know.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
And it's really amazing because we were both activists at heart, you know. We joined this organization called the Black Law Association, but we were also just very much into student politics and so on. So this organization led us to meeting other lawyers across the country, you know. So that's where you start, even from your days of studying, that's when you start realizing, okay, there are these kinds of laws and there's so. And it gives you a rounder perspective. Okay, but as life would go on, in the second semester of my 3rd year, okay, now academics are also showing me a bit of flames. It's not gonna be easy.
It's like,
it's also like, hey, my darling, come back for this modeling and until you get it right and so on. But eventually, I get financially excluded. I was one of those missing middle people where you don't really qualify for NSFAS, but you are seen to be affording, but you're not actually affording. So now I'm in this predicament where the dream seems to be pushed further away. You're asking yourself, but what do we do, women? We wear our big girl panties and you get on. Life must go on. The dream is still there.
Yes.
I go out, find a full-time job so that I can complete the remainder of my modules part-time. I do that. And that is where, though it's not really, now I'm working as a candidate attorney at the time, but this is me just getting experience, but really just getting money to fund myself to go to school. So I work in a property law firm, and I'm getting a whole lot of experience there. But I'm like,
this is not me.
This is not me though. Thank you. So I'm like, thank you for the experience, but it made me realize that no, I talk a lot. I want to be in court. I'm a litigator. That's the kind of person I am. But nonetheless, Muntu finishes the degree, and that's when I go do my articles now formally. When I do my articles, I was very blessed with the firm I was working at. It was a relatively big firm, and I was then exposed. So what they would do is that they would rotate us. So we'd start in the litigation department, then you'd go to the labor law department, then you go to commercial, then you go to the conveyancing department. Just a well-rounded experience in that 2 years. That is the kind of work that I did, and I loved it for a while. But that's when I realized that okay, I am comfortable saying that I am a litigator. Good in civil and labor and employment law. That is where my heart lies. But also because I'm also quite junior. I'm not saying
yes, no. You're still opening yourself up to
I'm still opening up myself to more. Who knows? Maybe 2 years from now I might have a different perspective because I'm also doing my master's in insurance law. So who knows? Maybe I might just be like,
girl, please come to criminal law. Hey, we're gonna need you. You never know.
And I'm always getting those calls like, where are you? Go those guys. I'm not that one. I'll find you a good criminal lawyer, but who knows? Maybe I will. But yes, just to answer your journey in Mcebo. So that was the journey thus far. So maybe I'm just jumping a bit, but this also explains the career change, you know, because like I'm saying, I was quite comfortable up being corner. I was in Rustenburg, and I thought, you know what, I'm loving it this side. I mentioned Guti, I met the love of my life in our first year of varsity, and when I say the love of my life, I mean the love of my life. We would literally go traveling as students and did everything together, and literally my best friend. And yeah, this life doesn't always go the way we anticipated, you know, not at all. So I remember this one day, he literally just woke up complaining about a burning sensation in his stomach. And the very same evening he passed on. Very suddenly, when you think your life can't get even more dramatic, a week later after the funeral and you're still trying to process what just happened to you, you realize that, okay, I'm also pregnant. I'm a first-time mother now. I'm a single mother automatically, and it really was a really difficult thing to get through. So, but the fortunate and unfortunate thing about life is that unfortunately, as harsh as it sounds, life still goes on though. So, you know, after that period, my mourning period, went back to the office, and you know, I think this is maybe a lesson that as corporates we need to maybe do better in a sense that okay, now it's like the funeral is over, but you're still expected to be Thandeka that you were prior to that. You're still expected to be this awesome person. You still have the same targets.
Level of work.
This level is still the same. You still have the same
even
targets.
higher.
Still higher. You still see clients. You still see court. You still go to court. And like I'm saying, God made us women in a spectacular way. I would have moments when I get to the office and the first thing I would just cry. You wipe those tears, you get back, and you meet those targets, you still do your job great, but you know, a lot more support needs to go beyond us just being given a few counseling sessions, and you know, we need to be involved in our employees' lives and in their well-being and understand this person's life just changed, you know. So, but I went through that period. Now I'm pregnant, the pregnancy is progressing, but I'm still working and so on. But also, depending on what you believe in or who you believe in, I'm a very big believer in God. And I think God really put people, because I was far away from my family now, so you must imagine that I'm actually going through this alone. But He really put people in my life who made the journey so much more bearable. So when I was there in Rustenburg, these amazing friends, so many of them, Katleho, Kat, and Tato and Umpili, and so many others. They were so involved. I would come back from work tired, and I would still knock off late. That's just ambitious people.
The work ethic in
work
you.
ethic is just like that, you know. And my friend would have cooked me a meal, and there was a time where I just stopped cooking. My friend would make sure that I'm always fed, and so on. And I think maybe the reality of this journey only really hit me this one time when I'm telling a male friend of mine who I won't mention by name, is very shy, I wouldn't want me to mention. And I'm telling him, hey, I'm going to my first gynae appointment in the next few days. And he says, no, let me know when you go. Let me also cap. And I was like, and I was like, okay, no, that's a bit weird. No, like, yeah, just come through. And it's like, okay, whatever. But then I go, I'm in jail. When I go anyway. And when I arrive, that is when now you see couples in there excited, they're holding the scans, and then it hits you and say, okay, I'm really going through this alone. And as I'm about to Kale and just go and just wipe myself, this very same friend calls me, where you at? So I'm like, actually, I met a guy and he actually went without you. I figured it was like, you know what, I'm coming. And having that friend there for that first, I took it for granted. But, like I'm saying, Oguti, God really put people there who made the journey. Not, it doesn't make it better or easier, but it makes it easier. You grow around the pain. You acclimatize.
It doesn't become smaller. You just become a little bit bigger around it.
I love that.
That's just how He works.
And long story cut short, that Bangkuba, my friends, I had a very good family structure. Even my colleagues were great. You also find very opportunistic people during the time of grieving who will in corporate. I don't know why corporate is so cutthroat, but I think the world is just like that. You find people.
I think corporate is the right face for what the world is out there.
Right.
Like it's a dog world.
It really is. It really
you
is.
need to be strong in all sides. And now you are, I would say, a widow, because this was the love of your life.
Exactly.
And just after that, you find out now you're carrying this life inside of you. And somehow when you come to the office 5 minutes late, there's going to be that eye looking at you like, excuse me, ma'am. You know what I mean? So I get what you are saying about corporate. It can be a little bit better.
It can be, a little bit, a lot more better.
Exactly.
I remember there was even this day where my boss calls me and he says, hey, somebody was complaining with you, you are going to, there are some moments in a week where you're away from, and this is now closer to my birth. So if anyone has been a mother, your prenatal appointments are more regular.
When I'm about
to give birth, and I'm like, how? Don't these people know I'm pregnant? I'm going to the guy and he would say
that's the time where I'm not even supposed to be here.
So you think people would be more sensitive to the fact that not only are you heavily pregnant, you're also still grieving, But some people still see it as ways to get ahead, and but when you're good at what you do and you're passionate about what you do, and you have a protector as well, with nothing, no sabotage will win, But
I think what I like about your story is someone who is watching, they probably like, this girl, she's an attorney, she's got it all together, everything is flourishing in her life. And you've just revealed today that that's not the case. Life will still happen. Life will still knock you down in different parts of it. But what I like about you, what you said earlier on, is you believe in God. And for someone who believes in God, I always say that He'll never give you a load that's too much for you to handle. It's, if you put it exactly in that context, you're like, God, so you thought it was a good idea for me to lose. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying whatever load that you're carrying, it doesn't matter what it is. We don't get to choose what it is, because if He was to give us an option saying, God, me, just I choose the struggle because I think I can do better there. He knows you better. So you have the strength to be that girl that everyone can see with all these challenges.
You know, that is so true. You know, I always ask myself, Kuti, you know, the kind of pain that people, when they hear bad news and then they faint and then they, you know, I always wonder what kind of pain would that have to be for me to experience that, because if ngawanga that day, if what I've gone through, if I never crumbled in that moment, I don't know what would.
You're never gonna crumble again.
I'll never crumble again, because I think that's the absolute worst I could ever go through.
I'm with you there. My physics teacher, I was in high school when I lost my mother. That's like my biggest loss in my life, and I was the only child, so it was just me and my mommy. So one of my teachers, I remember very well, my physics teacher, he was like, I'm so happy for you. I'm like, excuse me, what do you mean? How can you be happy? Can you not see this mess? He's like, you're so young and you're already going through the worst pain that you could ever go through in your life. Can you imagine what you're gonna be like if you could just get through this? And I was like, man, that is so powerful. Because we cannot stop life. One way or another, life is gonna happen.
Exactly.
There's gonna be a time in your life where things are just a mess, and you're gonna feel like this is the worst pain that I've ever experienced. So what he was saying is, you've got your life ahead of you, like a lot of it's still coming for you, and you're facing the worst pain ever now, believing that God is not gonna let you go through that all over again.
Right.
So well done, you've done the hard parts of your life. Now you're just gonna move on and just conquer everything else. And that's exactly what I believe my life is like. There's nothing that comes now and then I'm fainting, like you're saying, some people faint and all of that. You face the worst. So you're just looking at it like, man, I've seen worse. So I get what you are saying, and thank you so much for sharing that part of your journey. And I can see you even getting emotional there. Listen, girl, I commend you for taking that in your shoulder and saying, I'm this great lady, I am the attorney, I've got this, I've got that, I'm great at this. But here's the rest of the journey. A lot of people look at other people and want to be them, but not want their journey.
True.
So I'm happy that you are sharing your journey, and people out there understand what it takes to be Thandeka Mpanza, the attorney. It's not just me being in the courtroom slaying. It takes a whole lot more than that.
Indeed.
And motherhood, how is it? How are you?
Oh man, I always say that is my rainbow after the storm. Boys, I was very
It's a boy.
It's a boy.
I love baby boys. Sorry guys with baby girls.
Sorry baby girls.
Oh.
Motherhood is amazing. Motherhood really influences the person that you become. Now I'm not working hard just for myself. I want to work hard for my boy. Also, my decision to leave Northwest to come to Joburg was because of motherhood. Now I've given birth. I'm like, I don't want to be far away from this child of mine. I want to be close to him and so on. And you know, it's a wonderful journey. I'm lucky that I have a support structure from Kamu's family to my family, and I still have amazing friends. Great colleagues, even a great employer right now. You know, my boss told him my whole story, and he's always so sensitive towards my journey as well. So not only am I learning from the very best and also becoming one of the very best, like I'm saying with him, we're one of the few black lawyers to practice, attorneys to practice in the commercial corporate space. You know, it's predominantly white owned, and I'm learning from the very best. So things somehow come full circle, you know, and
all things work together for those who love the Lord. Hallelujah.
Amen. You know,
I love that. I love how everything is just coming full circle. Earlier on you said you're gonna touch on later. I like people who are like, next reference, we're gonna touch on later. You mentioned that you just wanna warn people about the peer pressure of just doing stuff because everyone is doing it. What did you mean about that?
So you know what I've come to realize was that as Maktiwa, two things. Delays are not denial, and life is not a race. I've seen it in my life that is not true. Like I said, that because of the financial exclusion in my life, financial exclusion, my studies were delayed. So I saw my peers becoming attorneys before me. Some I saw starting before me. But you also find, Uguti, there were some we would actually meet. They would graduate before me. But we'd meet when we were writing my board exams. So Tolumuntu now struggling to pass their board exams now. Now I'm just passing on one go. Or somebody completes and they're unable to find a job in the legal field and so on, you know. Whereas to me, it felt like the moment I was done with my degree, I managed to get my articles and I got a job. Immediately I was retained. But what I realized is that those delays are not just delays. There's something that we are being
There's
taught.
something that's happening.
There's something definitely happening. And it's conversations I've had of all these friends of mine, people in my circle that have experienced delay one way or another. I think it taught me a lot of resilience, a lot of persistence. Also, I think God was also working on my character as well, because sometimes you do have things like being a bit prideful that you don't realize that you want to rely on yourself to get things done. And sometimes you need to let go a bit and let yourself be led and so on. So those are things that I learned in the journey, to not be so reliant on myself. But your character is really, really, really refined in these processes of the waiting period. So guys, don't ever pressure I need to do this because people are also doing it. And also one thing that I also noticed, it was quite funny. A lot of the things that I wanted as dreams, you know, like I have a slot on Moja Love where I give legal advice. I do a lot of legal interviews and podcasts and so on. All the things that I thought could see, because I went through that, they're far away from
able
me
to achieve.
They still happen like that. So guys, again,
I love that.
Life is not a race. When I do your bit, work hard, put in the effort,
and just let everything fall into place.
Let everything fall into place itself.
I love what you are saying, because a lot of people think that a delay it means I'm done.
Always.
And some people think that if I run too fast, it means I'm going to be successful. So what Thandeka is saying is, if you are delayed, that doesn't mean things are not going to happen as you want.
Indeed.
And if you go faster, like fast, get to the end before everybody else, that doesn't guarantee you that you're going to get what you are going for. Because I've seen it from so many people. The people you fail maybe a class in high school or in varsity, you get more years than the other people. And the people who graduated way before you are still in the unemployed pool.
Exactly.
And you graduate way after, and they're already looking at you like, girl,
exactly.
So you cannot compare your life to that. I like what you are saying. We're not in a competition. It's not a race. Just do your thing. Because no matter how hard you try to imitate Impilo Thandeka, you're not going to get the same results.
Exactly.
I'm talking people who can say, I'm going to wake up the way that she does, dress the way that she dresses, speak the way that she speaks. You're not going to get the same results.
Because you're an individual, you're not Thandeka.
There's only one you, and that's where your power lies.
Embrace it.
Don't worry about the delays. Just do your part. They're going to come in the right time. Exactly. We struggle with the right time.
We do.
We don't even know the right time, because even the time that we're working on, someone woke up and decided, okay, it's going to be 12 o'clock, it's going to be 1 o'clock. We don't even know that's the right order of time. So when you say things are going to happen in the right time, we're not saying in the next 5 years. God didn't create years or days or all of those things. So it's going to happen in his right time. Indeed. And I like what you said, in that time of waiting, in that delay, something is happening. Definitely. You're not just sitting and not getting a job. Something is happening. You're getting stronger. You're learning how to do life without the job of your dreams. You're learning how to do life with that minimal salary instead of that big salary that you're looking for. You need to be positive and look at the positive side at all times. Indeed. Something is happening. Indeed. Any last words before we carry on with the service?
Hey, amen. Before Massive Valinkon's. Amen. I'm very passionate. Like I said, I'm an activist. I'm very passionate about Black females generally, but because I'm such a township baby, where I see that not many of us are given that opportunity to become excellent, and I believe that we have the potential to be excellent. So So I always say that you must always remember that you are carrying generations where you are trying to defeat patriarchy, but also you're trying to uplift the flag for other women.
Yeah.
So guys,
and just your family, not
just your
even
family
just
as
other-
well.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're absolutely right. You know, I'm the first lawyer in the family. You don't realize these things can tell how, you know. So, like I'm saying, guys, just keep on keeping on. Always work towards being counted amongst the very best, but not just for you, but for everyone around you. And I always tell people, especially people that I meet that are doing well now, guys, go back and pay back to your communities, pay back to your universities as alumni. You know, build somebody. If it's just one child to mentor or to just refine. Be that person. You might be that hope to that person, you know.
And the beautiful thing in that is, at some point, you were looking up to someone,
Yes.
and that someone did something
Exactly.
that did something for you. So do the same for
Do
the
the
next
same, yes.
person.
Do the same.
I love that. Thank you guys for joining us. And yes, it is load shedding. We will get power back. We are in Sanford.
There's a generator.
There's a generator somewhere. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your story, sharing your journey. We really appreciate it. And I pray and I know that someone out there is going to be inspired by your story. You keep keeping on.
Thank you so much for having me, Manga. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.